Hi, welcome to my piece improvement part 2. So we will discuss a few other important ideas. In part 1 we saw few ideas, but part 2 is quite different because position to position it changes, and we can learn some other ideas how to think here. So it's all about thinking system, how to think in certain positions. Okay, so you can have a look at this position. So I'll show some moves like how you can like choose the best moves, which is very strong in algorithm level as well as the human level. Human level is like the strong theory moves, you are going to use it. Okay, so let's evaluate this position. Actually, right now you can see you have the control over the open B file. So basically white is trying to get the rook there. Okay, and also we have a strong hold on d3 square, so the knight is able to jump there, so we have to make use of it, otherwise they are going to push the knight away from that. Okay, so we have to like focus on uncontested squares for your pieces, and you have to make your pieces uncontested. And contested is like you find a squares like where you can put the piece, and in such squares your pieces won't be attacked so easily. So those are uncontested squares, very difficult to attack. So we will see such squares. I'm going to show you practically how it works. So right now you can see queen b5 makes sense here because we have control on the d3 and we want to stop rook b1. So basically we can go queen to b5. Okay, so even if they push f4, we still have power here, so we can go queen d3. So let's say they play rook e1 trying to fight for this square, so we can improve our piece. So queen can go to e2 pinning the bishop, and we are threatening knight d3 followed by rook b2, etc. So queen e2, so they push. Now we have to gain a tempo, so you can think for a moment. So your queen is under attack, so you need to release with a tempo. Also the c2 queen is the defender for the b2. You see, black's pawn chain is so great. All these are chain pawns, and we have flexibility. Flexibility is like these are not fixed. You have some mobility. You can push. So many options are there. Okay, so we can just go queen to d3. So attacking the queen. So let's say if they capture, we are going to improve. The knight is going to get there, and soon the rook will follow to b2. Very strong. So they defend with rook c1. Okay, so rook c1, you can take, they take. Now you have to observe the changes that has happened. Algorithms are very strong in observing the even the smallest changes also in the board. Okay, now we can see earlier the rook was on the first rank, so now there is no rook there. So we have a new probability to enter there, right? So new possibilities. You have to find such possibilities and you have to make use of them. So rook to b1. Okay, if they put the rook to c1, you can go rook b2 and this pawn will fall. Once the a pawn falls, you will start pushing, and there's a new possibility. So they played king to h2. Okay, now it's the most difficult choice here. So do you want to put the knight to d3 or knight to c4? Okay, you can think for a moment. So both are looking strong. See, even algorithms also suggest a lot of ideas. Okay, they give you a lot of suggestions, but which one is more strong? We have to come up with a very strong plan here. Knight d3 or knight c4. Sometimes both also could be better, but you have to find, because there is no shortcut way to progress in chess. You want to progress in chess, you have to pay attention and observe, mainly observe. Through observation you can learn a lot of things in chess. Like you can't beat the algorithm, like as I told you in the previous one. You have to learn from them. Okay, you have to observe. To learn you have to observe each and everything that happens over the board. Okay, so knight d3 and knight c4, what is the difference actually? So both look strong because knight d3 is attacking the f2, knight c4 is strong here. Because when you learn a pattern, the difficult thing in chess is you have so many options within the pattern itself. That is why chess is not so easy. Chess is difficult because you have so many options. Chess always gives you more and more options to decide. You have to choose the best options all the time. Okay, you'll have multiple choice. Even you see a good move, you'll have multiple good moves, and you have to choose the best. Okay, so you have to train your brain. You should also create your own thinking algorithm. Slowly, you have to observe and you have to train. Okay, so I'll show you one difference here. Knight d3 is strong; it attacks the f2, but knight c4 I prefer. Okay, let me show you the small change because uncontested square. As I told you, you can place a piece in a square where it won't get attacked so easily. But knight e3, let's say they play bishop e3, and it looks like the rook can still attack the knight, but you have pawn support. Okay, but still, this is just an imagination. Even if you push c4 here, that is going to give another square, strong square for the bishop. So the bishop also gets an improvement here. Okay, when they play rook d2, this is just an imagination. If you push c4, the bishop also gets improvement on the d4 square. So knight c4 is a square which is very far from attack. See, there's no pawn attack. In d3 also, you see, in normal point of view, you will come to a conclusion that in chess literature it teaches you that outposts are the squares which cannot be controlled by the pawns. Okay, d3 is also an outpost, even c4 is also an outpost, because both these squares cannot be controlled by the pawns. But knight c4 is more stronger. Okay, because you see, it protects the d6 and it is an uncontested piece here, because there's no piece that could challenge the knight so easily. The knight is very far from the rook attack and the bishop attack. So we can take this from algorithm, the ideas. Multiple choice, though it gives knight d3 stronger, we can choose knight c4, because knight c4 there's no need to push the pawn. The knight can stay there because you keep the pawn on c5, it always restricts the bishop. So you see, theoretically this matches. Okay, so you can take this idea. So let's say they play bishop to c1. Now you can start pushing the pawns. Okay, this is one idea, to create this square also uncontested one. They won't be able to fight for this square permanently. Okay, so king g7 is one strong idea, just advancing the king, trying to attack these pawns. Okay, even if you attack, they are going to make it into chain, and we will see how to break them. So h4, you can, a5 is possible, but a6 was played in the game. A6, so g4. Okay, e6. Why e6? Because whenever you have a pawn, okay, you should try to make it mobile. Right now it's fixed pawn. Fixed pawn, they won't be able to move. So you want to make it mobile, then you have chance for pawn movement. Okay, so how to make it mobile? So you have to try this, because if they take, now this pawn is free to go. For example, if they take d6, you can take f6 and d5 is coming. And if they don't take, you have a chance to split their pawn. This d5 pawn, you can make it weak and you can try to target it. So that's an idea. So e6, so they took, we can take it back. Now we have made some improvement. We got mobility, and you see the pawn is ready to go. So earlier it was not mobile, now it's mobile. Okay, so this is certainly an improvement. So f3. Okay, f3, we can go a5, we can push it here, and this pawn is going to become weak. So let's say they play king g3. Okay, we can go a4, h5, h5. Okay, we can take it, because even if they take this, both the pawns, see, both the pawns are not chain pawn. For us also it's not chain, and for them also it's not chain. But if you leave it, there is a chance they could, in the future, they could play h6 or g5, etc. And they have chain pawns. So we can just take it, no problem at all. Also, it opens this line. So they take, and then we can push a3. So rook b2 is a serious threat, and it could come anytime. Now you see, the b2 square becomes too strong because we have more forces here on the b2 square. Okay, so let's say they played bishop g5, trying to limit the king's mobility. Okay, so we have a strong square here, uncontested square. They won't be able to even capture the rook. If they capture, we are going to promote the pawn. So you have to make use of such square. So we can go rook b2. The point is they won't be able to take. If they take, you take. It's so simple. Okay. So also the rook is attacked, so they have to put it on a square where it gets protection. So rook went to g2. Now you have mobility, chain pawns. See, so d5. Now this pawn is mobile, ready to move. So we can start pushing. So they take, we capture. They go king h3, trying to give a discover attack, but still this discover attack is not going to be really powerful. Okay, because even if they take, we would take. But anyway, we can improve the king because king needs improvement. So king f7. They played bishop h6, trying to enter the g7 square. But the rook won't be able to move very far because the a2 pawn is also hanging. So we can just improve the king to e6. So rook a2 is coming soon. So they played bishop f8, trying to attack the pawn. Okay, so we shouldn't be defending with rook b5. These are not so strong. Or we should not. Also, we should not pull the knight back because the knight is so active here. Okay, so what we can do is we can ignore this attack and start pushing this. You see, gaining some time. So they take, we take. They play rook g4, attacking. Okay, so you have a chance to take on a2, and they could take on d4. Sometimes you can like you have an advantage, you can convert it for another advantage. So you can give the d pawn to take the a pawn. Okay, so this is one idea. You know, so let's say we move king d5 is equally strong. King d5, rook check will come. Okay, so in the game they took. So rook takes. Now you need to push this pawn. At the same time the knight is hanging. So we need to first set this knight position and make it an uncontested one. So by giving it strong support, and then we are ready to go here. a2, a1 is coming. These pieces are well coordinated. So rook e4 check. So we have to advance the king. So king to d5. So rook c1. I mean rook e1. So pass up pawn has chance. So we can 1 second. So we have a chance to push rook c3. So we can push the pawn. So king g3. We can actually push the pawn. It's possible. Okay. So rook e1. We can actually push the pawn, which is more stronger. But black played rook to c3, attacking the f3. Okay. So attacking the weak pawn. So they played king g3. Now you have to remember that they have the dark square bishop. So it looks like the pawn is pinned, so you can attack with knight e5. But if you play knight e5, you're going to lose here. Because, can you see what is coming? You can think for a moment. Okay, so rook e5. What a move. They take, and bishop g7. And then you see, finally black is losing from a winning position. So you see, so we have to check this. So what we can do here is knight d2 is a very clever move here. Knight d2, like if they put the rook to d1, we have no problem. We can take, let's say they go king g4, we can take on f8. That's so simple. And then the a pawn will queen. So knight d2. So they play bishop to b4, attacking the rook, trying to break the coordination. Okay, so first we can take on f3, check. King has to move, and then very strong move. Like normally, if we play rook to d3, they will play rook d1. Okay, rook d3. If you play, they are going to play rook d1. Okay, so here tactical, like you will defend it tactically. Like positional problems, you have tactical defense. This is where algorithms are very strong, which I told in an earlier lesson. Okay, so rook b3 is very strong here, attacking the bishop and gaining some time. The point is, if they take, we can just put the rook to b2, and if rook e2, then we go with a2. And if rook d1, it looks like they are going to gain a discover attack. But right now, this piece is pinned, so we have enough time to push a2, and we are going to play rook b1. Okay, so if they try to get out of the pin, something like king f3, we have rook b1. See, amazing move. Now a1 is going to queen. Even if they play bishop c1, we have no problem. We can just go king c4. And you see, there's no defense. It's completely lost. So very strong counter. So bishop b4, rook takes, king moves, and rook b3. So rook b3. So they went bishop f8, and now it's time to push. So a2. Rook d1. We can defend. Okay, but normally we can defend. This is too strong, but we don't want defense here because we have a very strong plan here. Like, see, if they take this, this pawn is going to queen. But if they take with the tempo, it's going to be a problem. So what we can do, we can just move away from there. Okay. So bishop b2, they try to hold, and we can fight for that square. So first we can get the king closer. So they play rook a1. So the knight needs to go to b3 to aim for this square. So what we can do, we can put the rook behind the passed pawn. So it's very simple. See? Okay. So this is a very instructive example. You can go through many times. So we'll see more ideas related to this in the next upcoming series. Thank you.